What's up, guys? It's Christian here, and welcome back to the Adventures of an Av Geek, where today we are reacting to a video by Simplifying Long Haul that was published 2 days ago that is talking about popular trijet, a deep dive into why Boeing built the 727. And I will say, planes, you know how big of a fan of planes I am, and excuse me, especially historic planes. I love, looking at plane spotting videos from like 2000 or the 1990s when you had like the big trijets like the DC-10, MD-11, L-1011. When you had the A300, A310. I really love studying historic planes, and the 727, another cool jet that I heard was a very loud jet. If y'all have stories about the 727, please share below, or any historic planes, as I am a historian with aviation too. So let's get into the video and see why Boeing built the 727.
American plane maker Boeing catalyzed the jet age when it launched the four-engine 707 in the late 1950s. However, going forward, it also had to consider what aircraft it might produce for shorter flights to and from smaller airports. Airlines had different demands, with some wanting proven four-engine jets, while others preferred the idea of twin-engine aircraft.
Mm.
However, Boeing came up with an alternative solution that effectively met both of these demands halfway. The result was the three-engined Boeing 727 design.
And I will say that's interesting. This reminds me of when I watched a video by Wendover Productions about how basically it wasn't until like much later in the jet age that twin engine aircraft started flying over like the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, because there was a rule in place which has to do with ETOPS. Somebody can tell me remind me what ETOPS stands for, ETOPS. But planes had to be like planes had to be if they were a twin engine aircraft, they had to fly, and whenever they're flying at any given moment, they had to be 1 hour away from a diversion airport, and that's not possible if you're flying across the ocean. But we've been able to make amazing twin engine jets like your Boeing 777, Airbus A350, Boeing 787, Airbus A330, that are able to fly over oceans and have a longer time, like some like 4 or 5 hours, without a diversion airport. And this reminds me of, I say that because in that video, it talks about how you can only fly an international route like New York to London on a four engine jet. You couldn't do, lower demand international routes that are, point to point, because airlines always wanted to move away from the hub and spokes model to the point to point model. And so, but what allowed airlines to finally start doing that was the tri-jets, the DC-10s, the MD-11s, even the L-1011. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. That's just what this reminded me of. I digress, and we're back to the video.
But how exactly did this popular narrowbody come about? This is something we'll take a deeper look at for today's video. To meet customer demand, Boeing needed to create an aircraft that could access smaller airports. That's because, as capable as the 707 was, it was also unsuitable for the short runways of smaller facilities.
Yeah.
There seemed to be a market out there for such an aircraft. Indeed, major prospective customers included American Airlines, Eastern Airlines, which would be the launch customer in 1964, and United Airlines.
Interesting.
American was looking for a twin jet, but Eastern demanded a plane with at least three engines,
At
capable of
least.
serving its international network.
I see. All right, y'all, just skip through an ad, so we're back to the video.
Capable of serving its international network. And so Boeing eventually decided on a three-engined design,
Hmm.
which was satisfactory for the three aforementioned carriers. Interestingly, it would be the only trijet ever produced by Boeing. This new plane also needed to descend quickly into airports while avoiding obstacles like buildings in the runway's vicinity.
Oh, wow.
To achieve this, Boeing developed a large and sophisticated flap system. which provided extra lift at low speeds.
Hmm.
In another first, the 727 also featured a small gas turbine engine auxiliary power unit, or APU. This innovation eliminated the need for a ground power supply to start the engines, and it became a particular selling point for airlines operating in developing countries.
Hmm.
As Boeing began recognizing the aircraft's potential in the late 1950s, its rival, Douglas, was working on the rear engined DC 9.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, over in Europe, the British Aircraft Corporation was also designing the BAC 111 around this time. Hawker Siddeley developed the Trident, arguably the closest matched performer to the 727. Boeing knew it needed to sell at least 200 examples of the aircraft to make the 727 a success. However, by December 1960, it had received orders for just 40 airframes from Eastern Airlines and United.
Hmm.
Even when the aircraft made its first test flight in 1963, orders were still well below the break even point. As such, Boeing sent the 727 on a worldwide sales tour in an attempt to drum up business.
Hmm.
During this tour, the demonstration aircraft visited 26 countries. By
Wow.
the time it returned home, the jet had clocked up an impressive 76,000 miles, or 122,310 kilometers. Ultimately, the gamble paid off, and Boeing
Yay.
far surpassed its original target. We'll
Nice.
take a look at the total sales later on in this video. 1965 was unfortunately a dark year for the 727. The year prior, in 1964, the aircraft first flew commercially with Eastern. However, tragedy would plague the new aircraft the following year, with Boeing witnessing three of its 727 100 aircraft crashing within 3 months.
Oh no.
Altogether, these accidents resulted in 131 fatalities. Investigators looking into the crashes discovered that some pilots did not fully understand the flap system.
Oh
As
no.
such, they reportedly allowed the planes to descend at too great a speed. The FAA's Air Transport Accident Library had this to say about United Airlines' incident on November 11th, 1965. The captain failed to recognize and arrest an excessive sink rate on final approach, resulting in a touchdown 335 feet short of the runway.
Wow.
With this particular incident, the Civil Aeronautics Board, or CAB, had determined that the accident was survivable and that none of the passengers sustained any traumatic injuries that would have precluded their escape. The 43 fatalities were attributed to the fire caused by the broken fuel line.
Hmm.
The CAB noted that similar future events could not be ruled out, and that the airplane should be designed to have a higher degree of survivability in these types of events.
Skip through another ad and we're back to the video. But real quick, take a look at this cabin. It's so old fashioned. I would love to fly in a cabin like this. And then, yeah, it kind of gets to me that there are planes like the DC-10, MD-11, your what else am I missing? The 707 DC-8 that probably would have been a nice experience to fly on them.
Types of events. According to CNN, the Civil Aeronautics Board and the National Transportation Safety Board, its successor agency, which was created in the wake of the crashes, cleared the 727 and blamed pilot error for the accidents.
Hmm.
Some politicians called for the type's grounding. Speaking with CNN, Bill Waldock, professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University,
Hey, that's where I go to school. Sorry, just had to say that.
professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, noted that the headlines in the papers called it the deadly 727.
Oh
You had
gosh.
travel agents booking passengers away from the airplane. It could have killed the airplane.
Wow.
However, Boeing and safety regulators were adamant that nothing was wrong with the plane. Even so, the authorities didn't
What
accept
airline is
any.
this? Design is so cool. I want to fly this plane so bad. Oh, via United Airlines. Okay, so probably them. Nice.
727 pilots needed more training and that Boeing should modify the flight manual procedures regarding the final approach.
Yeah.
Despite reassurances that it was a safe means of air transportation, the aircraft fell out of favor among passengers for around 6 months.
I bet.
Boeing's original production run was for 250 aircraft, but the larger 189-seat 727-200 proved vastly more popular than expected. In total, across all 727 varieties, Boeing built and delivered 1,832 of the trijets, far surpassing its original target.
Nice.
After 22 years in production, FedEx received the final Boeing 727, a 727-200F, in 1984.
Mm.
By 2003, most airlines had retired the loud, thirsty planes in favor of quieter, more fuel efficient aircraft like the 737 and larger 757. The 727's last commercial flight would take place in January 2019.
And I gotta say, from watching that FedEx clip, I gotta say that is a really cool looking aircraft.
Despite its accident plagued early years, the 727 became one of Boeing's and indeed the world's best selling airliner families. While the 727 filled a niche in its day and overwhelmingly exceeded Boeing's expectations, a trijet commercial aircraft simply wouldn't work in today's world. By 2022, there were 38 Boeing.
So I was like yawning because I didn't. I don't know. I was just yawning. But yeah, he said a trijet couldn't work in today's commercial world. It's kind of sad because I would like to see trijets, and I love like I remember being at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, and spotting planes. It was like around 10 p.m. to midnight, and seeing this FedEx DC-10 take off. It's it's got a real engine roar, and it took off like dang near vertical. And yeah, so to see those trijets from the cargo airlines is always nice. But yeah, like I mean, honestly, I think more than likely, I believe this started with the Boeing 777 when like you make the 777 and it's like right, like I think that was a plane that is the reason that the Airbus A340 isn't that wildly successful because it's like, hey, A340 is great, but we got a plane in a 777 that's like everything that is, but it's only got two engines, so it's easier for maintenance. So, yeah, I think now we're in the twin engine age. So, yeah, probably not going to see any more than twin engine aircrafts from here on out.
Work in today's world. By 2022, there were 38 Boeing 727 still active at 23 operators around the world.
Actually?
Regular passengers no longer fly on the type, with no commercial versions of the jet still in operation.
Oh,
Instead, they primarily serve cargo and military duties.
yeah.
One airframe even serves a specialized role as an oil spill response jet.
Wow. Now, I don't know why, but I do remember again a video from oh man I referenced Wendover Productions in the last video that I just recorded before, but yeah, watch a Wendover Productions video about how cargo airlines work, and I forget why, but cargo airlines are incentivized or not incentivized, but like it favors their business model better to have older jets rather than newer jets, and that's why I think, yeah, for a good long time, we're going to see the Boeing 747 flying for cargo airlines because, one, cargo airlines, as I said, it's better for them to have older aircraft, and two, it's just hard to like it's the 747 like it was built to revolutionize passenger travel so that you could really maximize the amount of passengers that you could get on a high demand route like your New York to London. But it's proven to be really good for cargo because it's such a big aircraft that it makes operations a lot better. So yeah, really interesting.
As of May 2024, there are 32 aircraft still technically in service, according to data from CH Aviation. The
Interesting.
number of jets actually active may be fewer than 32. The biggest remaining operator is Serve Air Cargo, a Kinshasa based Congolese company founded in 1993. This carrier has 4 aircraft, all previously serving with FedEx Express from the 1980s. Other notable operators with 2 or 3 active aircraft include Brazilian carrier Total Linhas Aéreas, Guardia Nacional, Mexican National Guard, and Air Class, a Uruguay-based cargo carrier.
Hmm.
What do you make of the Boeing 727? Did you ever fly on one? And if so, with which airline? Let us know your thoughts and experiences in the comments section.
Yeah, I haven't flown on it because they started to retire them literally the year I was born, 2003. So, yeah, but a super cool aircraft that I see it now. And yeah, really amazing to hear the story about it. So, yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe for more aviation content, and I'll see y'all later. Love y'all.